So this is commentary walkthrough of my second iteration for my map. So here in the spawn room there are three barriers or walls which help to block the spawn area from anyone trying to fire through the open doors. So in the spawn room we have reload and health locker, one on each side, just in between the side doors and the main doors, just to try and quicken things up for whatever side the player comes in if they're trying to get health or ammo. So going through the main door, we enter the courtyard, and you'll notice that there is elevated ground, which I put in here to try and give the defending team, or not defending team, the team who's, if they're getting spawn camped by people controlling the courtyard, then they'll have an advantage, height advantage. Hopefully it will lean in their favour, and then they'll be able to push out and turn the tides, I guess. So going through the forward exit from the courtyard, you have a direct sight line onto the point. Now this is one of my areas for my second testing that I'm going to be focusing on, because as you can see there's a pretty wide gap, so I need to test if it's too OP, because originally in my first testing there were no it wasn't a room, there was no ceiling, the walls here were a bit lower, and there were no walls with windows there. It was just an empty bridge. There were some support there, but it didn't really provide enough protection from snipers or incoming fire. But as I was saying, the issue with this is I can't tell if it's too strong for snipers, because if you're trying to push through the bridge on either side, you're going to be focusing straight ahead and not noticing anyone trying to snipe from this point. So they'll have a good view. I'm actually going to go swap to the sniper right now. They'll have a good view onto the bridge and the point, while the defending players might not be paying as much attention. So it could be overpowered in that sense. And additionally, if you're a sniper, you can see straight forward into the other team's courtyard front entrance / exit, which, if a scout's trying to push forward quickly, it's going to be quite hard for them to, because there's a significant distance here, it might be hard for them to actually push through into under the point. But at the same time, that's going to be an issue if it's a skilled sniper player. Most snipers probably wouldn't be able to consistently get picks there. But to try and balance this area out, so far it's not really got any. It's weak to scouts, and also especially spies, which I've dealt with a lot during my testing. So ideally they'll either push through the center while the scout's distracted by trying to get people on point, or they'll go through the bunker and round through the side entrance, or they'll go round through the flank path, round the back through that side entrance, and come from behind and kill them. But another problem I was just wondering was, should these walls be increased so there's less view onto the point itself, as if it starts getting crowded, it'll be quite easy to get picks. But moving on from there, we go out. I'll go through the door first. So originally this door, it was there, but during my play testing someone pointed out that it's changed now, but if the player's standing there on the bridge, they'd have a really good sight line onto the door. So originally it would look like this, so the player could just constantly zoom in, and then as soon as they open the door, anybody trying to leave would be vulnerable to getting a quick shot. But now if they're standing back, they won't be able to see the door open, so the player will just quickly pop out, and it's a lot less likely that they'll just get killed straight away, which is important since you don't want to frustrate or since it would be frustrating if you left and just got killed straight away. So leaving this door, we go to the hill path. You can see in my change log that it's been brought a lot closer to the door, because one of the issues I was having with the paths were it took ages to get around. So originally this one, to get around from the spawn, not including that staircase, it was around 20 seconds for some of the slower characters like Heavy, which it took away any advantage of using him, since it would take way too long to get back if he got killed. But actually going up through the path, you'll see that there's part of the wall sticks out, which I've added it for cover, in case there is like a sniper or just anyone with looking out through the cave exit. It means that you're not, as soon as you go around this corner, you're not going to be vulnerable. You can sort of stick to the walls, or if they're over there, you could try to get into gunfight here, try and get picks, quickly just move in and out behind the wall. But then moving up to the top of the hill, you get to the first sniper. Well, not the first, the second good sniper sight line, which it looks into a small portion of the point. It has another small view into the bridge window. This one's important for countering any players who are trying to camp up in the sniper tower, and it also has a decent view over the no man's land, but this object here does block off a significant portion, and then you can also get a good view looking onto the ramp. Now, one of the issues I had during my testing was people complaining that it was too open. You were able to see everyone moving around, which made it really hard to flank. So I've added a room there which will block anyone from standing here from seeing people trying to go around through the back exit, since if I was an enemy here and I'm looking over at the opposite team's base, I'd be able to see if anyone went through the back way or the front way, but since this wall's now here blocking that view, I can't tell. So if I'm communicating with a team, then I won't be able to tell them that. So outside this door, if you want to go straight ahead, you get to a little narrow path, well, not narrow, little area. This area used to be a lot wider with that object over here, which is meant to block this entrance from being an easy pick from anyone who was coming up the bunker trying to cover it, I guess. But I find that it wasn't, when I shrunk this area, it wasn't really necessary, because if you're trying to push out this way and there is someone here, you can use this wall as cover to peek back and forth, and the player, they would have a disadvantage with height elevation since they're at a lower ground. So I figured it was best to move this object forward so it would provide cover from here, which I'll show in a little minute. But I'm going to go out the other side door and talk about that area. So once again, I changed this door to have it coming out the side. So here is the small sniper tower. When this area was shrunk, the platform, it meant that this pillar here, which is originally meant for blocking this sniper tower from being able to see that one when its windows were on the side, but that's not really necessary now, but it still adds good cover for preventing the sniper spot from being too OP looking onto the platform. So from here you have a good view onto the point, onto no man's land, and then you have access, or you can look through the window onto the bridge. Once again, this area hasn't been tested yet, so it's going to be like a prime focus for my next play testing. I'm going to ask some questions on this. Originally, my This pillar here was just a square, but as the this area or the map got shrunk down, I had to remove it so that there was still a strong sight line here. Otherwise, it would be a bit too weak. Now I have added. I've opted for a very small wall, which is acts more as a perimeter, because if I'm playing sniper, I like to just fidget around and move back and forth just out of habit, and I don't want the player falling off, which can just get quite annoying, frustrating. But it also means that it balances this tower out, because flanking players like spy or scout or anyone who's just trying to come around here to deal with a sniper has very easy access to shoot them, and they're not going to be able to quickly hide behind cover. They could jump back, but then they're also just in a quite an enclosed area, so it should be easy enough to counter sniper if they're quite strong there. So moving on to the platform, there's 2 ramps up, one from No Man's Land, which is meant to be for if you jump off you can quickly recover instead of having to go all the way around by the sniper ramp. You can just quickly go up here. So compared to the first iteration, I've added a room here, as once again people would complain about it being too open, but there was also the problem with scouts. So a scout can double jump, and I originally thought that this ramp wasn't able to be double jumped on top of, and it can't because of the height, but the slope meant that if it was timed correctly you could, which really ruined the whole timing, as a scout could quickly get out of spawn, go through a front entrance, and then within 4 seconds they'd be on the point, whereas every other character apart from soldier, who it is intended that the soldier can jump onto the point, but he's going to have to sacrifice some health, which will weaken him, so it's a bit of a trade-off, which is like used for like last ditch attacks. But Scout can't jump up there anymore, so he'll also have to go up here. But then it also meant Scout was too OP, because it'd be it was an open area. He had lots of he could easily jump off the point and then get into cover, whereas other characters that sort of be sitting ducks to the army of scouts, and also just snipers, because there were some pillars here and here with a small wall there to protect from the small sniper tower, but it wasn't really enough. And even in the limited playtest, there were some people complaining about snipers. But now this area is more of an enclosed area that tries to have characters like heavy, pyro, close combat, slower people are able to push through a lot easier now, and it leads into the point. So obviously you've got windows here, you can jump through them, so if you need to make an escape you still can do that on the bridge without having that, which I feel like is necessary, because if you get trapped from both ends, you would just get killed. So you do need the escape path to either help that. So compared to my first iteration, I have increased the size of this wall, because when attacking the point you're going to want cover, so you can easily go back and forth, because without cover you die too quickly, and it's not a back and forth between the capturing the point, which I got some feedback on, saying that was a slight issue. So with this, players should be able to have a lot more of a battle, but I will have to test this to see if any additional cover will be needed, like a small wall here which limits the player's sight from here, so they won't just be able to have a good wide view of anybody coming in from this side. So moving on to the other side, we have the exact same room, same window size. We have the cave with a big pillar in the middle. So this area was designed especially for pyro in mind, and a bit for Demo Man and Soldier. So with their explosions hitting the ground, since it's enclosed but not too small to where players are just trapped, and if they confront one of those characters who are strong in this area, then they wouldn't stand a chance. So that's why it's relatively big. It also has the pillar in the middle, which is meant so you can just move around. If you're getting chased by a pyre, you can quickly get out of the fire the fire that's shooting, or any other character like a heavy, which would be quite strong here since a sniper wouldn't really. They could, and I was sniping or holding down this area with my sniper during the playtesting, but it's not as frequent since they're mostly going to be focusing on No Man's Land. But the pillar is also used to block off the sight line from the other team's cave entrance. Now, one thing I added before my first playtesting was this ramp, as it wasn't in any of the original 2D layout designs. I added this because, once again, going around here, it took way too long, like roughly 20 seconds for the slower character, so just completely ruined the flow of the game. So I'm playing Sniper right now, he's a bit slow. Yeah, I'll say a Sniper. So you jump off, or you get pushed off the point, you retreat, then you can quickly hide behind. But you can hide behind, but this object does offer some protection for incoming fire from anyone who's trying to chase you or just standing there shooting you down as you try to go back up onto the point or to the cave. So it does help to cut off this path, but this path does still have some benefits since it's now shorter. It means it's not obsolete like it was in the previous playtesting. But you go up the stairs, you can go back around and start joining the gunfight quicker. Now, one area for concern right now is the bunker. So originally it's meant for flanking a scout or a spy, but at this point here, the rim under the point, it clashes with the bunker's purpose, since a scout can quickly or a spy can quickly just make their way through here into No Man's Land. Now, rather than going out of their way to go through bunker up and up again. Now, to try and encourage the sniper or the flanking characters to go through the bunker is by having No Man's Land making them very vulnerable. I have tried to balance this so it's not a death pit by just constantly shrinking the land. Originally it was way too huge, but I've been making constant changes, so it's not. I don't think it will be too overpowered, but for scouts and spies trying to just quickly go through here, but it will be an area that I'll be asking for feedback on during my next test, because I do want the bunker to be used. So as you can see here, we have a health pack and it's a medium and a medium one. It's just in case anyone's trying to run back or retreat, they can hide behind this cover and go quickly get resupplied without having to go all the way back down there. It just quickens up the pace a little bit, and I feel like it's far enough away from the point to where it's not going to be too strong. But I've also got a decal there which will be indicating that there are pickups. It's just a placement one right now. So the bunker itself, you go down some stairs and there's, like in the cave, there's a wall sticking out, 45-degree angle wall, which is just meant to block the sight line so you can't sit in camp and hold down this position against anyone who is trying to flank. It also makes this room feel quite a bit smaller, which would help fast-paced characters who like Scout, who's intended to use this right, but it also means anyone with a shotgun who's decent at close combat would be able to counter any flankers, or would just be able to flank themselves. Now, the roof, it might need lowered slightly in case there is a soldier who's trying to use some movement in this room. Depending on how often, I don't believe soldier will be used often, so I want to keep the roof slightly higher just for scout to double jump around like this corner, coming at a higher angle for some higher skilled players, just so they have that option. But if a soldier comes down here and starts shooting himself up to get height advantage, I might have to lower the ceiling, although I don't think that's going to be a common occurrence. So you come back out, it's the same on this side, and easy access into no man's land. Now, going back over to the platform, there's another route instead of this one, and that's the flank route, which originally it wasn't used much, mainly because there wasn't really a purpose for it. It was, like I said before, you could easily tell when someone was trying to come through here because there was no, there was nothing to obscure or block the sight. So now with this, it's going to create an incentive for the player to flank around, as well as I have changed this wall, because originally it was a solid wall, but I needed to add stairs to the ramp, since this was slimmed down so that I could shrink the platform itself, which would allow for a quicker recovery up to the point if they got pushed off. But a problem with that was this area was a lot bigger, and I want this to be quite tight to favour pyro again and some slower characters. Additionally, this spot would be quite good for an engineer. It offers a good viewpoint over onto the point, into the room here, and then it covers any flanking that would be made here. But in the middle of the flank route, like I said, this is the stairs. Now, this is an area which might need to be redesigned because it's quite limiting what I can do here, since the sniper tower needs to be high, so players can actually look over the roof here. But I want the ramp not to be too steep, because let's say anyone coming up here would want to be able to kill a sniper quickly, since this is quite a strong sniping spot. But if it was too high of an incline, then I believe the sniper would just have too great of an advantage. Now, originally it was more of it was a two-step stair or ramp to get up, which meant a sniper wouldn't be able to just look straight down like you can here. But I'm not able to do that with this area, and I want to keep the stair symmetrical, so I can't have it going up here, then down around, and finishing down there, because I feel like that would create an imbalance on the sides. But going up to the sniper spot itself, we've got a small window here which a character can't like jump crouch to get through, meaning they can't stand on top of the roof, which map's not intended for. So looking out from here, you get a good view onto any scout or spy trying to push into no man's land, like I was saying earlier. So it's not that large an area, so the sniper will need to be skilled, but it should hopefully prevent players from getting too frustrated by a strong sniper here. Additionally, I've got two large pillars here which are used for blocking any sniper looking at the main spawn door, which would be used to prevent snipers from spawn camping, people trying to get out into the courtyard. Now, another reason why I changed the stairs to face this way, because they were originally facing onto the point, was because the player could stand on the bottom stair and they'd have a straight view onto the point, while they'd quickly be able to retreat up to a higher ground. Now at the higher ground, it was very easy to push the sniper, but most player, or during the testing, the players would quickly just go up, kill the sniper, and then they never really went back up here. So it kind of became obsolete and just a bit of a pointless feature of the map. So by changing the stairs so they're on this side now or facing that side now, it means players have to go around through the flank path, which hopefully will make the flank path more used, and means that snipers won't be able to just get picked off as easily by just people walking to the point anyway. They have to go out of their way to deal with the sniper. And that's it for this iteration. If any other changes, big changes get made, I'll go through with another commentary explaining it.